Mr. John, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
All
Should I
right,
hit play?
absolutely. All right, so we're back. I'll just remove some text from the damn stream. Anyway, back to the game, John. Do you want to explain to the viewers what the hell you were doing for over five
Oh,
minutes?
I just I took a walk to the corner shop and I came back. I'm not one to go to the corner shop and never come back like certain fathers. Like maybe your family background works that way. Maybe it's like that in Australia, Mike, but in Asia we have a little bit more dignity. So I am back and we are good to go.
Do
And
you want
that's
to
all I have to say about that, Mike.
do you want to do you want to explain what you were buying at the corner shop, John?
Ah, no, I don't think I have to explain myself. I don't think I have. I'm not obliged to explain my motives to anyone, Mike.
No, absolutely fair enough. Well, John, let's get into the game. We do already have a bit of action at the top lane, but well, it is a Pudge with that beautiful Arcana. It's quite spectacular.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, Mike. Is it Arcana or Arcana?
You know, John, just because I was born in Australia doesn't mean I know how to pronounce everything. In fact, we're generally famous for pronouncing things, in a very awkward manner. I would say Arcana. However, for the posh people out there, I'd say Arcana.
I'd say Arcana, Mike, and I'm not posh.
John, bot lane, look at this. Look at this. Undying's actually going to go down to the quills before the minute mark. Well, in fact, it's past the minute mark now, but these mangoes are actually paying off quite a lot for Overdoser. And, well, Jero, he's going to go down. And that's first blood going to the way of a bristleback, which is something you don't see so often like that.
Mm, I've actually listened to a fair bit on laning Bristleback nowadays. Usually, you have to go all in on your first wave. You have to expend all your mana and try to get a kill, or at least shove the lane, so you can get a better wave next time around. But, sometimes you get first blood from it, and it pays off even better.
Yeah, well, the Undying definitely did seem like he went into a, pretty awkward position. Generally, even at level 1, like you mentioned, don't overextend against the Bristleback because he will destroy you with those quills. And, well, generally speaking, with the Bristleback, you also have a couple mangoes on you, which he did. And as you can see, John, it works out quite well for him, so well played to him. We probably should call out some names. I know it's a bit late, but let's just do it. We have Jusoff on the Pudge. We do have the Undying, which I'm going to call Jero. We have Azoziel on the Juggernaut. These are annoying names. Commander... I can't read while they're moving, John. Can you see that? Commander Pimmelbud on the
Yes, that is.
Viper.
Yes, Mike.
And Luz on the Doom. John, do you want to call out the die quickly?
On the dark side, we have Moy Marcus on the Drow. The Shadow Shaman being played by Suleiman Kebab, who will be going for a kill on Jusoff right now. They do take it easily. The Venomancer being played by Mo-Fi. The Bristleback, who just died, is being played by... Man, that's a rough one. Tiernan Van Yoki Overdoser. And the Wind Rager being played by Miris. These are all really helpful names, Mike.
No, I do agree, John. It's going to be really easy to pronounce these. Overdoser, we did see him going down at the bot lane. I'm not sure how it happened, but generally speaking, an Undying, using that Decay and the Tombstone, steals all your strength. The Tombstone zombies do deal a lot of damage if left untouched. So he will get the kill. I suppose you do have to be very careful in the offlane these days not to die like that. Well, he will be back there. He is completely out of regen though, and he is actually rushing a Vanguard, John. I don't know about this. It's probably going to not help him sustain this lane very much.
Some Bristlebacks tend to do that. It's okay in certain matchups. It's all right. I feel like against a Jug, it's fine. I feel like he'd still be better off with maybe a Hood of Defiance and definitely Brown Boots before anything big.
Well, he's going to go for it, John. He's not listening to us. I mean, mind you, this is a replay, of course. So why would he? Jero is actually going to move forward. The Decay, it's one of those things, right? Like, sometimes you don't realize how much strength has been stolen until it's too late. He's already lost 8. He'll lose another 4 now, so that's 12. And this is a very squishy Bristleback at this point, even as he's hitting him at the back. And look at this, the Tombstone as well. He's just going to make the walk up through the tier 1 tower. And with that final Decay coming out, he just finds himself another kill. I mean, you can't do that against an Undying, John. It's just not going to work. I mean, he will drop, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, he definitely gets a lot more out of that. I mean, Bristleback's not in lane, so he doesn't get the XP, and that's the big part for these early kills. It's really denying the enemy hero XP in lane, because they have to be home, they miss out on a wave or two, they have to TP back in, waste your free TP, put it on cooldown. So it's a big win for the Undying, I feel. Gives a lot of space to this Chug. He's going to hit level 5 before Bristleback hits level 4.
Yeah, it's a big problem. It's a massive problem, in fact. I mean, once you've got that spin and the Omni, even if you are a Bristleback, that can be deadly quite easily. So, we'll see what happens. Overdoser will be back in that bot lane to try and annoy the Juggernaut enough so that he will leave the lane, but he does have the healing ward up. And generally speaking, you can always just, you know, walk back, heal up, and just return to the lane. And look who's in the backlines, John. It's Mr. Schroeder again. He will walk through, trying to get in that position to Decay. And like you saw, 2 or 3 Decays is going to be enough for him to get the kills. Especially with that Tombstone. He is actually making the chase, just getting started. The Quills, though, are stacking up quite fast. He's already got 4 on top, now 5. He's going to be real careful about this one. He'll back off. And in fact, Commander gets a kill in the mid lane onto Myrus. But still, we're watching this bot lane. In fact, we'll switch around to the top lane for a moment because Luz, he's in trouble himself, although he will manage to get out of there. And in fact, we miss another kill. Schroeder, he will go down, but they will finally find that kill onto the Bristleback. Back to the top lane. Luz appears to be very low, but okay for the moment. And mid lane, in fact, Commander is getting very low now. So both teams not making it very easy to keep track of what's going on. But the Bristle dies, but he will find a return kill on the Undying. I would argue that's probably worth it for the Bristleback.
Yeah, at the very least he gets a return kill. He was around for the XP this time, but Jug's now level 6. He does have Omni Slash, although he doesn't have the mana. But he does have it up, and he should be able to find a couple of kills in this lane once he has some mana going back.
That is a very fair point. He does not really have any regen apart from the wand, though, so it's going to take a while to even think about, you know, trying to use that Omni, unless he does rotate to the Shrine. It doesn't look like he's planning to do so. I mean, he can just farm. He's a Juggernaut. He's happy to just farm like that for free. The Bristleback will back off and use his own Shrine, but it's really only for mana. So the usage of the Shrine, not the most effective. And I don't know. I feel like he's going to need that later on. He's running back to the lane now.
He's definitely going to need that Shrine, but he opts to pop it so he has some more mana to stay in lane, but
Omni?
yeah, he's gone.
Overdose, he's being chased up right now. Actually, a lot of Quill damage though, John. He's going to turn this around. Schroeder, going to be careful. One more Quill spray. He will get the kill due to the tier 1 tower. And he really showed us. He just took them out so easily thanks to those Quills.
Rather unfortunate. Rather unfortunate. I feel like it's a bit optimistic to go for that kill when your Undying was pretty low to begin with. Like, he needed to be maybe 3/4 of HP, not something like 3/5, which it looked like he was. It looked like he was at 3/5 HP, so he needed a little bit more in his HP pool before dedicating to that dive, really.
Indeed, he did. I'm looking at the top lane, John. The tier 1 tower will end up dropping. Of course, Luz in massive trouble right now. He's being slowed up. I don't think he can get away from this one. Schroeder doesn't even have the Tombstone to drop, and now he's in trouble. Justoff again misses another hook. Now Schroeder still trying to make the chase. Meanwhile, bot lane, Jug ends up going down. Schroeder, he's still alive due to the decays he's stealing right now, but he will drop Justoff. He'll find a return. Now Mulfire, he will not actually die. Both of them walk out with a slither of HP. There's no AoE abilities, or I should say global abilities, to be used in this game, so they will be safe, and they will walk to the Shrine.
Ooh, that's really unfortunate. And on top of that, they lose the Juggernaut in bot lane.
And can I just say, John, as well, we didn't notice something. There is a Drow strat going on
Yeah,
the Dire
I
team.
was about to mention. That's why the top tower fell so fast, Mike. You have the Drow, you have the Shadow Shaman, and the Venomancer. That's a lot of right-click damage, a lot of right-click damage onto the tower, which is, yeah, it melts. It melts. And towers will melt, Mike. Game. They also have the Wind Ranger mid. Pretty much the only hero that doesn't benefit is really Bristleback.
Well, I mean, the Bristol's not going to mind. I mean, you can't go 5 range, heroes. It's not going to work. You do need 1 to initiate, right? So I guess that's what Overdoser is doing with that Bristle pick, but... Well, right now he's actually in trouble. The Omni Slash off cooldown, they get the kill. That's not going to be good news for the side of the Dire, I should say. Their tier 1 tower now under siege, and it looks like it will end up going down. Meanwhile, top lane, they will find the Viper, but that is a hard kill to get. In fact, he did throw the ulti out onto the Shadow Shaman. They will get Mufai on the Venomancer. And Commander, now the Doom out onto the Drow Ranger as well. He will end up dropping, so 3 kills the top lane. As a Drow strat, as far as I know, John, you're meant to get a lot of momentum going. That is not what you want.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal. They probably overstayed their welcome. I mean, they do a lot of right-click damage. They don't do much outside of that, really, so... A bit greedy to go for that one.
As we said, that mid lane, Dustoff ends up getting killed off by the Wind Ranger. Meanwhile, at the bot, we do see a push or a chase going in from Overdoser. He will back off. Top lane as well, Luz now trying to back off safely. There is a Drow and a Veno there to slow him down. Gale will end up connecting. Power shot. Oh, nice hook comes in just in time. The silence will not connect. They will chase off Justoff instead, but he's pretty tanky on that Pudge, so he'll be fine. Now the Undying, meanwhile, comes in as well. And I've got to say, if there's one thing that the Radiant does have, they've got a tanky-ass draft. They do throw out the hook, barely misses Kebab. Yeah, the tankiness of the Radiant draft, I mean, it really is there, John.
Yeah, I think the main issue I have is really that the Dire side has pretty much no team fight. They don't have huge AoE control. They don't have anything that can really turn a 5-on-5 on its head. All they do have is massive right-click damage coming from the Drow, the Shadow Shaman, and the Wind Ranger, but beyond that, they just lack a lot of control. Not even a Bristleback would be enough for that. So I feel like it's going to be a bit worrying as as the game goes on and the levels start coming in. Sure, they can push down towers fast, but if they're forced to a team fight, it's not going to be that pretty.
Well, that is a fair point. I mean, ultimately, unless they finish this game very, very quickly, like you said, the Jug's going to get online. Everyone else is going to get online. They have plenty of teamfight potential. In fact, as we speak, Overdoser is in massive trouble. Again, those quills are dealing a hell of a lot of damage. Omni Slash does come out. Justoff is there to help out as well. He needs to connect this hook. Schroeder in massive trouble. Nice Shackle come in, and they will find that kill. Now, Overdoser still backing off. Beautiful ulti coming out from Myrus. Justoff still in trouble. He's skipping around right now, John. It's not the time to skip. He will end up dropping. And 3 down for the side of the Radiant as well. Meanwhile, top lane, the Doom, he will actually get Kebab. And Mufai might just end up getting Venomancer with poison. In fact, no, he barely doesn't. What the hell happened to the Viper, John?
I'm guessing the Veno or the Doom aggroed the creeps with their AoE spells. And the Viper was ticking really low. He took a crit from the big wolf. Looks like, or just a regular hit at the right time, which it's fine because the kill doesn't get credited to Veno, so I guess that's a win.
No, you are right. 11 damage dealt by the neutral creep onto the Viper. That's unfortunate. 11 damage is all it took.
No, it's not unfortunate, Mike. It's all according to plan. That's a very well calculated move from Viper, I'm sure.
Thank you for that, John. Again, bot lane. We do see the Drow farming up as much as he can. Going straight for that Dragonlance next up. And this is well, I shouldn't say old school. In fact, hold on a minute. Mid lane, Dismember is onto Myrus, who had the Juggernaut in her shackles. And she's going down now. She almost managed to get the Juggernaut, actually, but it's not quite enough damage. What I was trying to say, though, the Drow Ranger going for that almost old school build of the Mask of Madness Dragonlance, it means you can just stand back from like outside of tower range and just Mask of Madness the tower down. It's pretty damn insane for push. Not so much for team fight though.
Yeah, it's definitely lacking for team fights, but I feel like the Dire lineup definitely doesn't want the team fight in the first place, so
yeah,
it's worthwhile.
Speaking of team fight, John, Kebab is in massive trouble. He gets taken down. Luz is on a dominating spree right now. Morphi is trying to run out of there, but the zombies are making the chase. The Doom is walking after him at a fast pace, but not fast enough. Schroeder will TP out successfully, and Luz is trying to get out of there. In fact, he has a Shadow Blade already. That is a quick Shadow Blade on a Doom. 14 minutes in.
It is Brown Boots Shadow Blade, so all of his gold really went to that one item.
No, fair enough. They do find Overdoser. Well, can they take him out? He is a Bristleback. He does have a Vanguard as well as a Vitality booster. And Overdose is actually also going for a Heart of Tarask, which is very strange. They will jump in. There's the Poison Nova, the Omni as well. It won't bounce perfectly, but they'll find the kill. Now Kebab will be the next target. He's gone. And the Doom on the Bristleback as well. Luz goes back in to try and help out. The Serpent Ward's still hitting up on them. Here comes Mars to take one out. Can they get the secondary on the Jug? Not quite yet. Now they will actually. The Bristleback and the Shackles coming in from Myris. It's absolutely massive. Schroeder trying to get the final click, but generally you do not want to chase the Bristleback like that, because that's what happened. Your whole team will get wiped.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It looked like they almost had the Bristleback, but they didn't quite have the damage to deal with it. Really nice rotation from the Dire side to capitalize on that team fight, on that scattered, well, not scattered, staggered team fight. Rather unfortunate for the Juggernaut to choose to Omni-Slash then, as the creep wave was just coming in, and level 1 Omni-Slash is just 3 slashes, so you miss one, you miss a lot of damage.
It's a problem. It's a big problem for the side of the Radiant. I mean, I don't understand this build that Bristle's going for, but it almost feels like it's going to work, because they're so distracted by trying to kill the Bristleback, and he's never going to die with a Heart and Vanguard this early on, that it could actually work. They are going bot lane right now, but the Goo doesn't slow them quite enough. And
nice hook onto the Venom.
Oh, thank you very much for that, John. I missed it, but looks like Justsoft does manage to set up a kill for his Viper. Looks like bot lane, there might be a bit of action. The Dire is surrounding the side of the Radiant right now. Actually, Myris will find the Jug. There is no Omni. Look at this. He's just tearing him apart. He does end up going down. Now Schroeder will be the next target. Overdoser comes in. Can they take down this Undying? The hook barely misses Kebab. I'll tell you what, the Shadow Shaman's making me hungry right now, John.
This is the one issue I have with Undyings that opt to go for Decay. I think actually the most... Oh, what a lovely Shackle.
Indeed it was. He does find the kill, and now they TP in. Can they go for this team fight, though? They'll at least get Kebab. Luz is pretty scary right now as it stands. He does have a Doom in a few seconds. He might want to go for Overdoser, but Overdoser not backing off. Justsoft, though, he will be able to TP up, but the Shackles from Myris was beautiful. They'll get Luz, it looks like. He can't regen out of it. Now Juggernaut comes in, but can he catch this Bristle? It doesn't look like he actually can. And now Myris, Power Shot will connect and does a hell of a lot of damage. The Shackles is available, but he's just waiting. The Omni-Slash, though, not quite enough. Now the Viper Strike comes in. Myris playing all around them. The Shackle comes out. And this is just perfectly played for them side of the Dire. Like, they don't really lose much, and they gain so much out of this.
Yeah, they're definitely playing it really well. I think it's a very odd issue of target prioritization, or just going in one by one for the Radiant side. It's really not working in their favor, and they're losing a bit. Well, it's not too much just yet. It's not like it's out of control just yet for the Dire side, but it's not a good start for the Radiant side.
Well, John, tell me about the itemization on the Jug. I mean, I believe it may have been last game the game before you disagreed with the Battle Fury pickup. This time around, however, do you still think the Battle Fury is not the itemization to go for on the Jug?
I'm trying to recall. I think the last time we saw the Battle Fury was on the Phantom Assassin top off lane. I think I didn't disagree with it then, but I think it's alright in the jug.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Yeah, the hook was perfect, but it wasn't great enough. Myris was just attacking way too fast. Schroeder comes in to try and help out, but yeah, to bring it back to what we were talking about, John, we were, like, the first game we casted, I mean, the draft that they were up against, it was much later game, so it made sense that you shouldn't get a Battle Fury. In fact, it was a PA, not a Juggernaut, I should say.
It's a Phantom Assassin, yeah.
Yeah.
In this case, I mean, most Juggernauts do go for the Battle Fury first. I like Battle Fury in Jug. I remember the time where the go-to build was Mask of Madness into Battle Fury, but I've been finding it underwhelming myself each time I touch the Juggernaut, the Battle Fury. Just going for the Battle Fury first on this hero just kind of feels underwhelming. I feel like taking a look at Asocial right now. He has Phase Boots, Battle Fury. No Aquila, nothing to bolster his stats a bit. It's just, it helps you farm, sure, but you don't do anything outside of that. It's just kind of underwhelming in that case.
Well, they are going to go in. Viper Strike gets started. And of course, the break from the Viper does help now. Nice hook from Justsoff. And the Omni Slash onto Myris. He is still using his ulti and takes down the Viper as well. But he will end up dropping 2 down for each side. Still, I would argue probably a bit of a win from the Radiant. I mean, they got a massive gold change out of that as well. And your Juggernaut stays alive and soaks all that XP. You got to be happy with that on the side of the Radiant.
Yeah, definitely. And they managed to expend the Shadow Shaman wards as well, so that's a really long cooldown. It's always going to be 2 minutes on cooldown whenever he pops it, so it's pretty big to have it wasted now. That means they can't really push for the next 2 minutes.
It's one of those things, though, with this draft, like, it does feel like there's such a timing that they have to hit. They cannot drag this out against a team like the Radiant has, because they're going to overtake this game later on. So you can really feel the sense of urgency that the side of the Dire have. But if they continue to do what they just did, they're going to lose this game even faster than they can win it.
Yeah, definitely. They have to play it smart. They have to stick as 5 and take an objective, then back off immediately. And that's all. That's the only options they have. They can't force big team fights because their lineup really isn't suited for it.
We'll see what they will end up doing. It looks like they've slowed down a bit. Mind you, with these kind of drafts, you can't really win, right? Because you have to push, you have to go for fights, but at the same... Schroeder? Gets called out by Myris again. Didn't quite catch that one, but my goodness. Myris is really making some work happen across the map. He may get caught out, though. Luz is around with that Shadow Blade. In fact, Silver Edge now. But he does reveal himself. Myris, can he react fast enough? He's got the blink. He will get out of there. There was a bit of hesitation from him, but he will make it. Yeah, Myris is doing so much work for his team right now. He's just finding all these kills across the map. Actually, as I say that, the Bristleback has been caught out. Rod of Atos comes out from Justsoff. Now the hook. Oh, it's not on point. Yeah, the Doom got in the way and the Bristle moved. They will continue going there. The Viper Strike Poison Nova has been committed, but it's not quite enough. The Shrine is there as well for the Radiant, so they've got that advantage. They will break the Bristle. He'll turn around though. The Decay is starting to stack up. He's got 16 strength stacks on him right now. The Omni as well, pretty beautifully placed coming out from the Jug, and they will go immediately onto that Drow Ranger. Now the only one left is Overdoser. In fact, he will back off, and Myris is still alive. I did manage to miss him, but still, 3 down for the side of the Dire. Again, John, they find these terrible team fights to take, and it's not working out for them.
Yeah, it's really not. And they're giving a lot back to the Radiant side. Sure, they have pretty good map control right now on the Dire side, but they're giving a lot of farm over to the Radiant.
Look at Myris though. Jumps in, wants to go for it, but it's not going to be enough. Again, the mistake has been made. The only one that does manage to find a kill is Overdoser on the Undying. Justsoff will run into him. He does have the healing ward there from the Jug, and he's just going to heal through all that damage anyway. So a quick TP out from him. A 22-26 with a 3k network lead, but like we said, it looks a lot worse when you've got a draft like the Dire. It looks like Kebab is in massive trouble right now. He will try and fight back, but I'm not sure how long he can sustain this, and the answer is not very long. He will go down a Commander. And we now sit at 23 to 26. And things are starting to get rather out of control, I feel.
Yeah, it's starting. If I was Darius side, I'd be a bit worried right now about my timing. You've only cleared out most of the T1s. You haven't made a significant dent in any tier 2 just yet. And by this point, you'd really want to start knocking those tier 3s, so they're a bit behind where they want to be in terms of push. The Bristleback, interestingly enough, Mike, already has that Heart of Tarrasque, but I feel like, I mean, I don't know, the timing's weird. He has the heart, but at the same time, the Radiant side already has a couple of Silver Edges. So, I'm not too sure how to feel about this on the Bristleback.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's the point? I mean, he's tanky, but Silver Edge really is a great counter to the Bristle. Not to mention the Viper, of course, with that Nether Toxin. It does help quite a lot. Top lane, actually. Luz ends up getting killed off. That is not good news for the side of the Radiant. They will go after Commander next. Mufai is there as well as the Drow. They will find that kill. Now the Serpent Ward's being dropped, but it does absolutely nothing. And it looks like Myers actually chasing for more. In fact, no, that's Overdoser. He will find Schroeder, and it looks like Schroeder will end up dropping. So 3 down for the side of the Radiant. And it's just so back and forth this game. I just can't understand how it's happening. Like, both teams are just running into each other at the worst possible positions.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit topsy-turvy. I mean, the Darius side does take that team fight, but at the same time, Shadow Shaman expends wards again, nowhere near a tower. But they do have significant push power without having wards anyway, so I guess it's alright. It's still a very odd choice to drop the wards there.
Indeed it is. They are going to continue for the tier 3, but the Drow's already gone. That is your main damage dealer. And they might give some kills away here. Luz gets caught out with the dust, but can they take him out on the Doom? He is tanky. Myris is here, though. Poison Nova comes out as well. A nice kill coming out from the Dire. They're actually doing a lot of work right now, even though the Drow isn't there to help out. Myris as well. He is not committing the focus fire on the tower, which maybe he's saving it for Arax. I'm not 100% sure. He's not using it yet at all. They're still going for the Bristleback, but look how tanky he is right now. Justoff will miss the hook, and Overdose are still trying to get out of there. That break is so powerful against him. He will end up dropping. Now the Omni comes in. They'll get 2 kills for themselves, but they have lost the tier 3 tower. Kebab trying to run off as well as Myris. They will do so successfully. I really can't help but feel, though, if the Drow Ranger was still there, they may have been able to just get a quick Rax.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it would have been very easy with a Drow around to just push that out, but without her, that's a lot of damage they lack. It took them a long time to get rid of that tier 3. Granted, this does put them back on track. This is kind of what you want by this time with this draft. At least 1 tier 3 down, a Rax that you could go for, and they managed to get the kill on Jug as well.
Yeah, I mean, Myris, he's always managing to find these kills. Jug's not going to be very happy about that. Especially considering he does have that Battle Fury as well as the Blink and Yasha. Like, he wants to be farming right now. There's literally no other point to the Battle Fury. Drow Ranger, meanwhile, ends up finding the Pudge. And, well, Luz is around to help out. Pudge actually still alive through all this. Can he survive? Yes, he can. The Dismember just in time. And you've got to be hating yourself right now if you're Marcus. Got to be hating yourself. He actually ends up dropping.
It doesn't even get the kill on Pudge. It was a sliver of HP. Not quite enough.
Well, he'll get back to the drawing board. He has farmed up quite a lot on that Drow Ranger. It may not be enough, though. We've got to see. The Aghanim Scepter is also up on Marcus. Or I should say Myris, my apologies. So that Focus Fire going to be hitting for a hell of a lot more. In fact, he is maxed out, so the damage reduction will be 0. That's a big deal, considering he has the Maelstrom as well. It's very quick itemization coming out from Myris. So overall, John, I mean, the side of the Dire, they're looking good in terms of net worth. But you still feel that sense of concern that the Radiant are not out of this game yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't feel like Radiant side has been shut down just yet. I'm not too confident about their ability to close the game out in the next 10 minutes just yet. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that in a 5v5, if the Radiant plays it properly, have much more potential when they face off in their high ground defense. It's going to be hard.
Oh, look at Myris, bot lane, looking for another kill. Overdoser is there as well. He's actually got a fresh Aeon disc now. So if you thought killing him before was hard, it got a whole lot harder. They will smoke up on the side of the Radiant though. Will they go for Overdoser first? I don't think this is the right play, but it looks like they will know. In fact, they'll go for the Drow. No Doom quite yet. The hook does end up missing an Overdoser straight to the front lines. Meanwhile, Myris in the back lines trying to take down Doom, and he does do so before the Doom even comes out. Overdoser still in the front lines, making hell for the side of the Radiant. Kebab is there as well. He gets the Shackle, and the Pudge is still there, trying to help out the best he can, but he's going to go down to all of this. Oh my. The tier 2 tower. There's no creeps around, but it's probably going to go down regardless, considering the creeps are walking up to them. Meanwhile, top lane, the tier 1 tower is under siege by the Juggernaut, but this is not the trade they wanted on the side of the Radiant. And they're going to go straight for the next tier 3. We'll see if the Drow sticks around.
Should be a straightforward push. Unfortunately, again, Shadow Shaman does not have wards. Push this one out, so it's still gonna go down.
They'll get it, although what will they lose? The Omni Slash comes in. It is onto the Drow Ranger. She almost goes down. Now she's gone. Nice play from the Jug, and they are gonna go straight after Overdoser. The break is there. Tombstone has been dropped as well. He's still very tanky, but not tanky enough. And it's one of those things, right? Like, you've lost 2 tier 3 towers now, but these kills are paying a lot of money to the Jug. Not to mention the XP, of course, is massive. He's level 22 now. And top of the net worth. Like, you can't continue to give these kills away just for tier 3 towers.
Yeah, you definitely need more. You want to take at least a Rax, and you want to really take over the map, but it doesn't feel like Darkside has really taken advantage of the map control they have. Sure, they've been playing around in that Radiant bot jungle, but I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like they've really went in, cleared out all the camps, just stay there and really force the Radiant side to just stay on their side, because they can even push out right now. They have the audacity to still cross the river.
Ooh, Kebab jumps in with a Hex, but nobody follows up. Now the Shackles, it was onto only one. The Doom comes in as well, and it looks like Myris is gone. The Poison Nova is going to do absolutely nothing. And that was very questionable by Kebab. This tier 2 should go down fairly easily. I mean, they've already got the siege creeps there anyway, but they are going to back off. So they'll just let the creeps do their work. In fact, no, they'll come back in. Can they find a hook onto the Drow? It looks like just off. Oh, the Rod of Atos blocked by the Lincolns. And now Overdose is here. So now they've definitely got to back off. Tombstone has been dropped though. And they've broken him again. Can they find this kill? Dismember was actually on the wrong target. It was onto a creep. And that is very bad news. Although they have healed up all the way. Now the Omni Slash onto Marcus in the backlines, but it does not bounce the way he wants it to. So Overdoser will be the target. They can't kill him, so they'll get the tier 2 tower and they'll back off. But my god, that was messy.
It really was. It really odd sort of team fight. No one really dying except for maybe Wind Ranger, but rather odd team fight. Unfortunate for that Dismember. If the Dismember did go off, they might have been able to get the Bristleback follow-up, but sadly didn't happen. It's still alright. They managed to take the tower out. The gold advantage is now in their favor, about 1k gold for the Radiant side, which is really not what you want to see as the Dire, because you're supposed to be ahead after taking all these objectives, after taking over the map. But you know, they've taken 2 tier 3s, no racks taken just yet. They've been playing on their side of the map. I think that's key. They've been playing on their side of the map now. When, in fact, they should be really just staying in the Radiant side of the map, forcing them away from the jungle, cutting out their income. But they haven't been able to do that, and I think that's really going to cost them in the long run.
Well, they do end up finding Doom mid lane. The Shackles, Luz is still okay through all this, although Overdoser doesn't want to let him go. Now the Viper Strike comes out as well to try and slow him down a bit. And Overdoser unable to actually continue. He will back off. Still, the Dire appear to be listening to your advice, John. They are moving forward, trying to, you know, choke the side of the Radiant a bit. They'll get that final tier 2. They drop the wards again, though, for this. And the wards aren't even hitting the tower. Definitely questionable, to say the least. You've made the point that every single time they go for a Rax or a tier 3 tower, the wards are never available. That's probably why. And it's, I mean, you've got to be careful with those wards. They are worth a lot of money. Not to mention the value of them dealing damage to towers and Raxes. It's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. I find it curious, though. Like, this time around, Shadow Shaman dropped the wards properly. They weren't focusing on the tower. But, while Viper was clearing out the wards, he managed to deny, like, 3 of the wards. I'm just really curious, because that shows you have the skills to micro your wards to a certain extent. Granted, denying your wards isn't too hard, but you have the micro skills yet. I don't know, it's just been very iffy.
Well, they do get started top lane, actually. Schroeder goes down. Overdose is still alive. He cops the Doom, though. They are going to make the chase for this very tanky core. Now the Poison Nova comes in, will fire. He's not as tanky himself, and he will essentially just die for... I mean, I'd say the cores, but I don't think Overdose was going to die through all that. Now Myrus, he will back off. We should mention, of course, the Jug does have the Manta Nullifier up now. So he's gotten pretty far ahead in that net worth. And this is going to be very problematic. I mean, 34 minutes in, your draft is starting to really not be there anymore for the side of the Dire. They do indeed find the Viper, though, at the top lane. And so Commander, expecting everyone to be already dissipated, it definitely wasn't the case. Now the line's been drawn out at the top lane. They want to go for the Rax. The Viper has no buyback. So as long as everyone's there to help out with this Rax, I can't imagine they lose this one.
He just got it back, looks like, from passive goal. So he does have buyback.
See if he buys back. The range Rax is under siege, although the fortification has been committed. Luz, he'll go in. No Doom available, though, on this Doom. Rod of Atos will break the Lincolns of Marcus. And Overdoser does want to back off. The Nullifier is there, though. Nice Shackles does not actually connect. The hook as well. They have to commit the dust to try and find this Wind Ranger. And really, nobody's dying right now. Overdoser turns back around, goes after Schroeder. The Rod of Atos, they're holding him in place. Now they break him. Aeon Disc has been procced. It's all too much damage for this Bristleback. It looks like he will end up dropping, and he will. He buys back, though. That was very questionable. They will start going on to Jussoff, but Marcus maybe not, shouldn't stick around. Overdoser, he's going to come back in. Better be careful not to die a second time. This will be a dieback. The Omni is there. He has not been broken though, but look at the damage is being dealt right now. Jug is going to continue the chase, it looks like. Marcus, oh, the choke point. It's not too good for either team right now. The wards have been dropped. The Tombstone as well. The Poison Nova. So many abilities being committed, but most of the Dire are dying. Myrus, can they get the hook onto him? Jussoff is waiting for it to come off cooldown. He's trying to juke it out as best he can. The Invis, oh, he blinks back in. That was not the play, although here comes Overdoser, and well, you just fought back and you're going to die again. That's a full team wipe, John. That is not good news.
That's really not good news for the Dire side. Not only do they lose all 5 heroes, they expend the buyback and Bristleback. They expend the Shadow Shaman wards once again. So that's not going to be up there for the high ground push, which is really key. And it really just slows down the momentum. At this point, they'd want to be the ones shoving in. I mean, they killed the Jug, right? So they expend Doom, but they can't because they're all dead due to some very odd decisions made.
Yeah, it's very problematic. And now, knowing that the Bristleback isn't going to be able to buy back for the next, like, 6 or 7 minutes, it's going to make you feel a lot safer about pushing. Obviously, they're going to... It's probably going to actually be worth trying to kill the Bristleback throughout the team fights now. They will actually end up finding Commander at the top lane. But it's just a Hex. They don't even bother trying to go for him. And I suppose with a Veno Shadow Shaman, they didn't really have a chance to really take out the Viper anyway. Luz as well, John. He's holding on to almost 6k on the Doom. Is he going for a Radiant? No. He's going for a Shiva's Guard.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. They already have the AC up in Viper. I'm just curious as to... Well, I guess he could just upgrade his brown boots to travels later on. I guess that's economic. I think that itemization is fine. Honestly, I don't see any any big issues with itemization so far, except maybe Bristleback. See, this is the issue if when you take a hero that depends on Aeon Disc for durability, like the Bristleback. So he died, right? He expended his Aeon Disc on his first stat. He buys back. He goes into the team fight. He has no Aeon Disc. So he's not going to be able to stand in front and stay at 70% HP for a long time because it's not going to proc. It's on cooldown. It's a very long cooldown, 90 seconds. So it really limits your usability when you buy back if you have the Aeon Disc and you're depending on it to stay in the front. And I think we just saw that Wilder in that last fight, Mike.
It is very questionable. I can't disagree with you. I mean, that cooldown on Aeon Disc is just way too long. Jesus, 90 seconds?
It's a very strong item, though. Like, it has to be balanced somehow. Any lower, it would be really overpowered, I feel. It's such a good item. Like, I've had a lot of games where we turn the tide mainly because our main core, our main carry, decides to go for an Aeon Disc 6th, 7th item. So, you know, you put it in for the initial fight. Once it's procced, swap out. They've expended all their spells. You can just stand in front, wipe them out. It can really turn the tide of the game. And it has to be balanced somehow. I think the cooldown is probably the best balancing factor if it...
Well, see how it turns out, because Overdoser is being chased right now, but Luz will let him go. This Juggernaut, I mean, he's getting to the point where it's going to be really hard to control him. They do get a Hex onto Luz, though. The wards were dropped again. I don't know about this. I mean, you could have gone for the Shackles first.
Not only that, it's the wards again, Mike. Every single time. Every single time I see these wards drop down in the oddest situations, and I don't mean to call people out, but this Shadow Shaman has really been dropping the ball in a lot of these fights because these wards are crucial for that high ground push.
Well, ironically enough, John, he's going for an Aghanim Scepter as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be too effective, but Roshan is being taken by the side of the Radiant. So at the very least, they will be able to sneak a quick Roshan in before they have to go defend their bot racks. They do have Fortification, I believe. No. Yeah, no, they do have Fortification ready to go. So it should be an okay defense by the side of the Radiant as long as they can get in to defend this. Justsoff, will he get the hook? No, he will not. There's no tier 3 tower to protect them either. Marcus gets started on the range racks. He doesn't want that healable damage. Now the Fortification does come in. Undying runs to the middle of all this. He's not as tanky as you'd hope. The Blade Mail will help out. Nice hook comes in from Justsoff. He will find Morfeo. And, well, he does get the Dismember as well. The range racks is gone, but doesn't matter too much. Now Kebab, he's actually Ghost Sceptered, and the Omni Slash isn't doing that much, although he still will die. That was a hell of a long Omni Slash, and that's 3 down for the side of the Dire. Again, not great news for the side of the... I mean, this is... They got a range racks, but it doesn't... It's not worth trading 3 of your heroes for that.
No, absolutely not. I think... I'm talking in circles here, but if they had wards up, they probably could have taken the melee racks as well.
Oh, that's
you know what I'm saying? It's really hanging on the Shadow Shaman to utilize his wards as best as he can. But just hasn't been happening. He's made some very odd decisions. Probably in the heat of the moment.
Speaking of a decision, John, Luz is going for a Overdoser solo. Unfortunately for his sake, he can't really catch up, although now he will. Does have the Infernal Blade. It does deal a lot of damage. But solo is a pretty big stretch, I feel. Morfai comes in. Oh, no, never mind. It's not. Although Marcus comes in with the silence and Justsoff wasn't able to help out. Now Luz is in massive trouble. Although he's pretty damn tanky. He'll probably be okay. Looks like Commander will come in from the back lines. Morfai will blink out of there, but the Drow Ranger isn't going to be as lucky. Looks like he will go down, and Morfai was caught out by the Viper Strike. Commander has dropped, and a quick buyback comes out. Again, John, these buybacks that are coming out from the side of the Dire, I don't agree with them. There was absolutely no reason to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any reason for the Drow Ranger to buy back now. And that entire time, Luz was chasing the Bristleback. I think you have to take note. gave Juggernaut a lot of space to push in bot lane. Like, they've just... the Darius side has lost their first T3, and they're going to lose the mid one as well, looks like.
Yeah, this Jug's been making a lot of work. The Omni Slash, where is it? I don't even see it. In fact, no, there wasn't one. Could have sworn I heard one, but anyway, Rod of Atos onto Kebab. He does get hooked in. Now the Omni Slash comes out. It is onto the Bristle. They'll break him and mute him up, so the Aeondis does nothing. He goes down. Meanwhile, he's still alive through all this. Jug is not really copying enough damage. They will buy back onto the Shadow Shaman. He does not have wards available. I believe we've repeated that line about 2,000 times now. And well, they'll get the racks in the mid lane and they might just rotate to the bot. They're all healthy. Hookshot is available and does connect. They will get the shackles. Kebab has to be careful not to die back here. But the secondary racks is under siege now. You've got to be so careful about these hookshots as well, because they might just connect and take you out. They mute up the Bristleback, and now Luz in the middle of all this. The shackles is there, but the Drow Ranger in massive trouble. Myra's trying to help him out. Justoff is about to die, and it looks like he will not. He'll get the return kill. The buyback is there from the Witch Doctor. Meanwhile, the Bristleback is getting ripped apart on the back lines and rooted in place. He will end up dying. The only one left is the Shadow Shaman and the Wind Ranger. Can Myris do anything about this? Commander does actually end up going down to the poison of the Venom, but then they take down the Shadow Shaman again, so that's a dieback on him. The only one left, John, the Wind Ranger. But she's not really able to capitalize on anything, and essentially we'll just have to stick back and defend.
Yeah, it does look like that, and the Radiant has taken so much from that one push. I mean, you see the difference in the push attempt so far, Mike? When the Dar attempts to take the high ground, they only manage to take one objective at a time. When the Radiant decide to do it, they manage to take 2 sets of racks. It's just night and day, and it's a lot. It comes down a lot to the draft. Again, you're all in on this Drow strat. You have the Drow, Shadow Shaman, Venomancer, and Wind Ranger, but when it comes down to the team fights, you just can't. Like, it just doesn't do anything for team fights.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, it's that... It's not having the wards up every time you want to push. I mean, it's so many things that the Dire just... You know, they're not really committing the right sort of action with their draft. I mean, they're pretty powerful, don't get me wrong. Like, it is hard to kill this Bristleback, and Myris is doing a lot of work on the Wind Ranger. But ultimately, like you mentioned, the pushes are never really as successful as what the Radiant's doing. Now they're taking shrines as well, so taking back the map control. And ultimately, 1 tier 2 and 1 racks left.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really hard defense. It's just really hard because their lineup is... It's not built for these 5-on-5 team fights. It's really built to whack buildings, or at the very least get pickoffs. But at this point of the game, it's going to be very rare for you to find someone to pick off. Yeah, I mean, Radiant's going to stick together.
I mean, Rumor brings up a good point in the chat. He did say that, you know, when you get these kind of lineups where you've got that pressure to try and finish quickly, you know, you screw up once and it's very punishing. That's exactly what we've been saying. Like, they've missed their timing completely. We all know that. You know, they should have probably taken a Rax or two 20 minutes ago now. And at this point, I mean, anything they do wrong is going to hurt them. One thing that is repeatedly being done wrong is Kebab with the wards. I still don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I can understand the gun happiness to dropping those wards. There are times where you feel like you have to drop it, but he's been dropping them so consistently fast that it's a bit too gun happy.
Too premature.
I've seen this kind of Shadow Shaman before from a certain person we like to play with, Mike, who has not played in a while. I shall not name names. This is very reminiscent of his playstyle. And I have to tell you, it's not pleasant watching it again. At the very least, I'm not playing it. It's just not pleasant reminiscing.
Well, it does appear the side of the Radiant right now, they are waiting for Roshan. It is a fair bit off though, I believe, so that'll be a long wait for them. In fact, we don't even know when it's going to be up. It's still about a minute away before we find out. Justoff appears to feel very comfortable just sitting in the Roche pit for the time being though. Meanwhile, Overdoser will continue to push down the mid lane again. Not sure about this. Overdoser is going to run into them. Bit of a slow reaction. Kebab comes in with the Hex. Now the Omni, the ward's again being dropped, but it's going to do nothing. Omni slash will get the job done. Now Overdose are going to be in a bit of trouble. The wards are being destroyed by the Jug. Poison Nova comes in. They actually take out Schroeder, but Morphi's gone as well. Luz is in the front lines doing all the damage. Now the Viper Strike as well. Commander will find another for himself. In fact, it was the Jug with the triple kill. And that's 4 dead for the side of the Dire. I mean, no buybacks available as well. This could be Mega Creeps. In fact, it should be.
Yeah, I mean, not just Mega Creeps. I feel like they could probably, if they so chose, this could probably end the game, but it looks like they're just going to go for Megas right now.
Well, Luz is actually going to drop to a solo Myrus, which is somewhat concerning, considering all he did was focus fire, but he will buy back. He will TP back up to the top lane as well and see what he can get done with his team. And it looks like they'll find out very soon that there's no buybacks available on the opposing side. If only they knew. Myrus, though, going to try and take down everyone himself. He actually gets the Jug as well, but he will lose his life. Now the Veno finally gets that passive gold for the buyback. This should still be Mega Creeps. Although, surely, I mean, you definitely don't want to see the Jug die when you're on the side of the Radiant like that.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't know. Should have probably just focused on the buildings.
Indeed. They will get that Mega Creeps. Now the tier 4s are under attack, but they're not going to be able to take them that fast. Actually, the Pudge is very tanky, but he's getting overly confident right now. Justoff, he does get the Dismember, but he will end up dropping. GG well played is called anyway, so I think the game is over. But they are respawning in just a bit of time, so you never know. Tier 4's gone. Now Commander going to keep up the Ancient attacking. He wants to get this game done, and you can't really blame him. Marcus trying to defend the best he can. Kebab comes in, the Poison over again. GG will play still being called, but they've got to be careful. Now the ward's being dropped. They do absolutely nothing. And well, Commander is gone. The Ancient is defended. Luz is still there. He has been spotted out. Nice silence comes in. Can they finish him off? It looks like they will be able to. And that is why you never get too cocky at the end of the game, because you will end up losing your life. And I'm not going to lie, they could still come back from this if they really tried.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the potential to hold. They have decent enough wave clear. I feel like at this point, you probably just give your Drow and Aghanims.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else. You just go for the Ags. You're playing against Mega Creeps. You just want to clear those waves out fast. The Aghanims is the way to do it. The Shadow Shaman does a decent enough amount of damage up against Creep Wave, especially once he hits 25. Ether Shock damage is really nice.
Yeah.
If he does opt for it, 720 Ether Shock is really strong. And the Bristleback is Bristleback. You can clear as well as you can. And they do have the potential to hold. It's just it's really hard now. Like, this game is really, really hard now.
Well, if they get stormed like down the mid lane, like it's going to be very hard with the Mega Creeps as well. Like we all know how hard it is to defend against Megas, let alone when there's 5 heroes running at you, trying to take down the Ancient. So we'll see what they can do. Myrus is already on the hunt to try and find a pickoff to make, you know, the odds more favorable for his team. But the Roshan is being taken right now. And with that Aegis, it's going to make it that much harder to defend. Not to mention the cheese, and I believe, is this the third Roshan we're seeing this game?
It's still the second, Mike.
Well, they'll get a cheese and Aegis, although Myrus is here and he seems to know what's going on. Roshan is gone. Can he sneak in? No, he cannot. Overdoser is there as well. Double damage picked up by the Jug to make matters even worse. But if Myrus can get a nice Shackles here, he might be able to deal enough damage to this Jug to at least get rid of the Aegis. Oh, beautiful Shackles onto 2. Look at that damage, John. He's going to deal way more than enough. No, in fact, he's not. The Omni comes in, but it's cancelled off straight away. And he does end up dropping. He didn't actually have the Aegis either. Who the hell has it? Well, they do jump in. I think Commander has it. No, in fact, it's the Undying that gets it. Justoff, he's still trying to fight, but he's going to be careful not to die here. And in fact, he does. Morphi drops, Marcus drops, Kebab drops, and Commander is just hitting up on everybody right now with this crazy attack speed. And that'll be it. The creeps will do the job. John, third cast of the day. How you feeling?
Pretty well, Mike. Pretty well. That was one heck of an interesting game. I don't like the flashbacks I was getting through from the Shadow Shaman. I'll have to be honest. It was pretty upsetting, Mike. It's really upsetting for me to see that because that's the kind of thing that I'd be yelling at in a game. I'd be like, "Why are you doing this?"
Indeed.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, John, it was unfortunate for Kebab.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all have those kinds of games. And he was their only hard lockdown next to maybe Wind Ranger Shackle, but that's not reliable. Shadow Shaman was really their only lockdown. So I can't blame him for being gun happy, trigger happy.
Yeah, it's absolutely fair enough. Well, John, I think we'll call it for the night. We were meant to do heaps of games today, actually, but unfortunately, we had a few other responsibilities that popped up last minute. But we'll get back onto them tomorrow, early in the morning. Anyone watching, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. We do have like 30 something or 40 casts to do, so don't panic. We're doing them all. In case you're watching, waiting for yours, we will be doing every single one. But for now, John, any shout outs, anything like that?
No one in particular. Thanks to everyone for watching. I believe Vinsanti's back here. I haven't seen that name in quite a while, but he's been following us around for a fair bit. So thanks for dropping by. I believe Polar Bear was watching as well. So we have Tank and Rumor, everyone else watching, everyone who submitted the replays. Thank you very much for trusting your games to us. Hopefully hopefully you guys enjoy it at the very least.
We'll find out, John. Don't you worry. Other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.